Today on Bill of All Trades, I'm going to show you how to refinish a table and make it go from this to this. First things first, we needed to sand down the top of the table to remove the varnish and the old stain that I had put in there about 8 years ago. I borrowed this sander from my next door neighbor since I didn't have one handy. He also gave me a bunch of sanding pads. I used 80 grit since it was pretty aggressive and would make short work of getting the stain and the varnish off the table. You always want to make sure to sand with the grain of the wood. You don't need to push real hard. Let the sander do the work. I didn't have to push very hard on here, and if you're pushing too hard, it's probably time to change the sandpaper. Where you gotta be careful is around the edges. The edges of any surface, they're going to sand down much quicker because the wood's thinner on a corner than it is on a flat piece of wood. So just kind of take it easy around the edges and let the sander do the work for you. So, where am I here? Here's what I'm using to stain the table. I bought this a couple years ago, and when I redid my kitchen table, it's Rust-Oleum Ultimate Wood Stain Dark Walnut. So I'm going to be making this table match my kitchen table, which is already the dark walnut. I've actually stained this table before. This is the second time I've sanded this thing down and restained it. The first time was maybe 2016? About 8 years ago. I got this in 2008 from my Aunt Pam, and it was all white. I sanded all the white off the top, I painted this black, and then I stained it that cherry color that you saw before. So this time we're just going to be, we sanded all the stain off, and now we're going to be staining it that dark walnut that I just showed you, and I'm going to put a matte finish on it. It used to have a high gloss finish, this time it's going to have a matte finish. So we have on our kitchen table. I really like it. It's durable, it's easy to clean, just soap in water, and I can scrub it a little bit if I need to as well. It does really well, and it looks really nice, and I think you'll see that when we're done here. Applying the stain is pretty easy. Just dip a rag into the stain and brush it on in the direction of the grain. Make sure to make a nice even coat. Leave it there for 10 to 15 minutes to soak in, and then come back and wipe it off with a dry rag. I did 2 coats of the stain to get the color that I wanted. You can do more, you can do less, but I knew 2 coats is what I did on my kitchen table, and 2 coats would work on this as well. Remember to wipe it off when you're done after about 10 minutes. It's dried, so the next thing we need to do is kind of sand it down again. It's gotten a little rough as the new stain soaked into the wood grain kind of rises up, right? It swells a little bit, so you got to kind of sand that down, not with much. I'm actually just going to go through with one of these used pads that I used while I was staining it before, because they're kind of beat down and a little bit less aggressive as a new one of those. I don't have any other sandpaper, but again, it's just kind of just trying to use what I got laying around here. So let's get into that. I'll show you how we can just kind of sand that down by hand real quick, and then I'll start putting the polyurethane coating on top. Look who came to join us. It's our neighbor's cat, Lovey. Hey, Lovey. Hey, Lovey, how are you? So yeah, just a light hand sand with an old used piece of 80 grit. You could use a piece of 150 grit. Doesn't take much, you're just trying to smooth out the surface. When you're done, wipe it down with a rag to get rid of the dust. I'm just using a Rust-Oleum polyurethane with a matte finish here. This is what I use on my kitchen table. Really like how it came out. So this is what we will be using on this table as well. It's a non-gloss, like it says matte finish here, soft touch, looks really nice. So I'm going to use this and get this going now. This is applied in the same manner as the stain. I used a foam brush instead of a rag this time, but just dip it in the poly and brush it on with the grain of the wood. This particular brand of polyurethane suggested doing 3 coats and letting it dry for at least 2 hours between each coat. The last thing to do was just to paint the skirt and the legs the gray that we wanted to paint them. I used a gray that I already had that I had used on one of the walls in the house. It was an eggshell finish, which would make it easy to wipe down once my kiddo got his dirty fingerprints all over it. Now, in this video I'm only showing you guys me painting 2 sides and only doing 1 coat. It took about 3 coats to cover all that black. So thanks for watching me refinish the coffee table. If you guys like this DIY, make sure you go ahead and like the video, subscribe below for more videos like this. Again, if you guys like it, leave a comment, give me some ideas of things that you guys would like to see on the channel in the future. And thanks for watching.